Hey everybody, it's Chris. I found something recently in SharePoint where you can open up an image you have in SharePoint stored somewhere, probably in a document library, and edit it more than simply changing the size or cropping it. So we're going to go and show you the demonstration of that. When you do make your edits to the image, you have the option to save it straight away or to save a copy of it. So this is a new feature probably in the last week I've learned about, and we're going to demonstrate it to you. I'm going to start with the site contents. As you can see, I've moved the site contents link up into my navigation here. And in my documents library, I've got folders and files, but I've also got an image in there. You can see it right here. It's an image called Computer Files and Folders. I'm just going to click directly on this image, and it's going to bring up the image, but it's also an edit button there now. So before you could do downloads, make a copy, share it, but this edit button is going to open up a little editing panel for us. So we're going to open that up. And here's our picture. In addition to the general cropping you're probably used to, you'll notice down at the bottom we can do a freeform sizing and then play around with that picture inside there if you want to play with that. So think of all these as the different aspect ratios. You can also do some adjustments. So we'll do our done here. I can move this around. Let's just say for my picture I want it to be at an angle, something like that. Then I could save it right now with this little change here of the angle by clicking save. This is going to save the actual image itself. So in other words, it's going to save over it, or I can save it as a copy. But we'll save this for later. Now what else can I do here? There's adjustments, which brings up my picture and gives me some brightness, highlights, contrast, shadows, features. So if you did want to play with some of the colors and things like that, you can play with this. So I'll go to brightness, so I move it around. Exposure. Contrast. You get the idea here. If I wanted to change the color saturation, in other words, less bold color, I can slide this back and you can see it settles down a little bit, almost all the way to black and white, or back up to a very bright color. Play with tint or warmth, and then tint itself. That was warm, and just play with the tints on it a little bit. So that's pretty handy for that. There's some pre-built-in filters if you want to see what pre-done ones kind of look like. As well as intensity. So let's say I went vivid cool, but I wanted to back it off a little bit. I could play with that too. So lots of features like that. And then the final one before we wrap up is markup. It's really just going to let you scribble a little bit. So it's going to bring it up, and you can draw a little bit in there. I'm not sure how much I would probably use that, but that's the idea. And again, you were able to click on the link to the image, popped up the editor, the image editor, and put it in edit mode to make your updates to it. As you can also see, I can do a little bit of highlighting here too. And a nice little erase button there too. And that's it. So let's go ahead and save a copy. And then it's going to place that copy into your SharePoint site itself. So let's close up here. Actually, I can close up from right here too. And get us back to home. And we'll go in one more time to contents just so you can see in the documents library where I was that I have my original one, which is here today at 4:25 local, but then there's another one in here. So let's open this up. And now we're seeing it with that little angle to it and some of the changes we made to it. So pretty handy. That's it for today. Again, something I just discovered in the last week or so that relates to editing images with a little bit more leeway for angles, colors. You can make something black and white. You can draw on it. So sometimes you might want to spice up maybe a picture you've got in your SharePoint site, but you don't want to necessarily have to download it and use some other image editing tool if the tools that SharePoint's already providing for you might do the trick too. That's it. Thanks a lot.